Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for Yoga 101 Exploring Backbends, Cobra Pose. We're going to start today's practice off in a seated position. As you come into a seated position, begin to lengthen your spine. Bring your attention to your breath. Give yourself permission to let go of your to-do list and make the next few minutes just about you, connecting with your body, coming back to center. We'll begin to gradually increase our inhalation. You can place one hand onto your belly and one hand onto your heart, noticing your belly rise, your chest rise as we fill the body with breath. Exhaling, letting all the air out of the body. Noticing the calmness that comes from deep breathing, our shoulders melting away from our ears. We'll go ahead and open our eyes and begin to roll our shoulders back, taking our time, checking in with how the shoulders feel today. We'll begin to reverse. And then we'll begin to flow side bends, placing one hand to the floor, reaching one arm up and over, returning back neutral, and then taking our side bend to the other side. Adding the breath, we can inhale, stretching. Exhaling, coming back to center. I want to start to swim the shoulders. You're going to bend the elbows, bring one shoulder back and then the other. Take your time with this one if it feels a little awkward. We're going to start to reverse the direction. So now we're circling forward. My shoulders were feeling very warm and activated during this, and I remember they were starting to get very tired. So if you're feeling that, nothing wrong with it. We're going to go ahead and come over to all fours, lining our knees under our hips, our wrists under our shoulders. Spread your fingers wide, connect with the foundation. As you round your spine, drop your tail, dropping your head, inhaling, lifting the chest, lifting the tail. Just continue to move with your breath as we nourish our spine with movement. You'll find cat and cow in many of our practices. It is so good for us. Then go ahead and find a neutral spine. We're going to sink our hips towards our heels to child's pose, resting our forehead to the floor. Just begin to reconnect with your deep breath, sinking a little deeper with each exhale. And then returning to all fours, we're going to take a flowing thread the needle twist. So inhaling, sweeping the arm towards the ceiling, and then exhaling, threading the arm under the body. We're not lowering to the floor, we're just twisting through the spine, breathing in, opening, exhaling, twisting. We'll go ahead and move over to the other side. You can let your gaze follow your hand if that feels good for the neck. And then let's take another child's pose here. On your next inhale, go ahead and return to all fours, and then we're going to walk our way out to a kneeling plank. Shoulder blades down the back. And then we're going to warm the shoulders up in a different direction here by flowing between kneeling plank and active child's pose. It's active child's pose because we're not sinking our hips all the way to our heels. We're keeping our hands where we can return back to that kneeling plank and have good alignment. And the next time we return to plank, we're going to lower all the way down to the floor. And we're going to begin to play with Cobra pose. So with back bends, often we try to use our arms and force our hands into the floor to press ourselves up. But let your hands float just above the mat and only lift your chest off the floor as much as the strength of your back will allow you to. We want to move with a strong and flexible back and never force ourselves into any extreme position. So just continuing to just lift and lower, relying on the strength of our back. You'll notice my hands kind of float off the floor. Maybe playing with coming a little higher. Just see how you feel. We don't want the lower back talking to us here. We want to feel that strength through our upper back. Now I'm pressing my hands into the mat, seeing if I can come just a little higher by adding just a little pressure into the floor. And then let's take it all the way up and back. Take a break here for a moment, returning to child's pose. Now Cobra pose in its full expression is going to be with straight arms. We're not going to visit that today. We're going to stay with half Cobra, or sometimes I refer to it as baby Cobra. Now we're going to walk our way out and lower to our forearms and belly to Sphinx position. Draw the shoulders back and down, lengthen through the back of the neck. Your gaze is just past your fingertips. Just begin to breathe, noticing how your low back feels. Noticing if we're feeling any stretch through the front of the body. And then we'll lower down, and now that the spine's a little warmer, we're going to come back to our Cobra practice. If you're feeling good with coming a little higher and pressing slightly into the mat, go ahead and try that here. Or keep them small. Always listening to your body. We're never in a rush. So that's it for Cobra pose. We're going to come back to child's pose for a moment, and then move on to some other poses to balance our practice today. So go ahead and return to a seated position. We're going to set up for a seated twist. We'll start by drawing the right knee in towards our chest, sliding our left leg straight with the toes towards the ceiling. Breathe in and lengthen the spine, and then hugging the outside of the knee, we'll twist. You're twisting from your core, never straining the neck to look back. Continuing to breathe into our twist. As you take your next exhale, we'll unwind and take our twist to the other side, drawing the left knee in. Pause here, find your tall spine, and then take your twist to the left. Noticing how it feels to breathe in this position. Are your shoulders lifting up towards the ears? Allow them to drop. One more inhale here. And as we exhale, we're going to unwind our twist, coming to staff pose, and then walking our hands towards our feet for a forward fold. We can let the head drop, breathing into any tight space, allowing ourselves to relax here. And then we'll begin to slowly come back seated. We're going to scoot forward to make room to lower onto our back. I'm lowering here slowly using core control, but if the back doesn't feel up for that today, just make your way down in any way that feels comfortable, hugging the knees to your chest, rocking side to side. And then keeping the right knee in, We'll take our left leg straight. If that straight leg is too much, you can always bend the left knee instead. And then releasing the right knee, we'll draw the left knee in, sliding our right leg straight. Shoulders relaxed. Then we'll release, we'll bend the knees, and then dropping the knees out to the side to butterfly. And butterfly puts us in a little bit of a back bend here, so you may feel a little stretch through the lower back also, and not just through the hips. Then we'll draw the knees back together, stack our knees over our hips, bring our arms out either to a T or cactus arms. We're going to drop our knees over to the side. We can look in the opposite direction. And take one more inhale here. As you exhale, draw the knees forward, strong core, and then drop the knees over to the other side. And just keeping awareness in our body, noticing how one side may feel different than the other. Then we'll bring the knees back center and set up for our final relaxation. You can either keep the knees bent or take the legs straight. Letting our hard work begin to integrate into the body. As we take our next inhale, notice the rib cage rise. And as you exhale, let every rib bone go. Feel the support of the ground beneath you. Give yourself permission to pause and reset. We'll begin to wiggle our fingers, wiggle our toes, bring our awareness back into the room, bending our knees, turning over to one side, leaving our corpse pose, turning over to newborn baby. And taking our time, begin to press yourself up seated, finding a tall spine. We'll take one more big inhale together, bringing our hands overhead. Exhaling, bringing our hands to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next Saturday.